Okay,
we
ladies.
have a 15-minute Q&A and then a champagne reception. I'm going to turn it over to Jay Michaels, who's going to handle the Q&A.
Good afternoon. Firstly, let's hear it for this entire cast. The biggest cowboy hat of them all, let's hear it for our screenwriter, Johnny B. Dunn. Hiding all the way in the corner, let's hear it for AJ. Can I invite you two cowpokes to join us here up on this stage? Ladies and gentlemen, in lieu of a curtain call, why don't you just stand up and mention your name so everyone knows who you are, and then we'll get started with the Q&A. Okay, then.
I'm Alan LaForest.
Hi, I'm Glenn Girardi. Hello, Austin Anthony.
I'm Jeffrey Turboff. Jerry Williams.
Alan Green.
Susie Mack. I'm Christine Nagy.
Jeff Mash.
Matt McCarthy.
Chris London. Andrew Russell. Victor Calcerdo.
Dominic Ferrulo.
Mark Cooper.
Claudia Ramirez. Katie DeBerry.
Ruben Spires.
Eric Hacklin.
Two more cast members and we'd have to get another theater. I'm going to start with one quick question that everyone's going to answer for me. By a show of hands, how many of you have ever been bullied or persecuted in your lives for any particular reason? And there you have it. I open the floor to questions from the audience for our artistic team, for the creative team, for anyone. Yes, sir.
There's a lot of research. You can tell by the accents, by coloring where it was, all the detailing. What kind of research was that? Did you go there? Did you see gay rodeos? The author?
Yeah, for me, I was born and raised in Oklahoma, and actually had a lot of friends who rodeoed. And so I also had an opportunity to meet and work with some people from the International Gay Rodeo Association, and have a dear friend who has several belt buckles for bronc riding. And so I got an opportunity to learn from them.
I actually saw a gay rodeo on a trip, so it was coloring it as I watched this reading. Wonderful reading, by the way, great actor. And I just remembered that as I was listening.
That's great.
I got to say to the entire cast up on that level, there's scripts in your hands, there's just plain lighting, and as much as everybody's in plaid, this is as close as I come to it. I'm sorry. I literally got into it, so at the end, watching the rodeo, I felt myself sitting going, like I was watching the movie, so I really congratulate you. Other questions? Anyone else from the audience? Any other comments? Yes?
For the writer, was it always going to be your intention to have him lose? Or was there a struggle for you to kind of like to go in one direction or the other?
So I would say that drafts 1 through 20, he won. And it was draft 21 where he lost. Because I felt like that wasn't the win.
Yeah.
The win was after.
Yeah.
And so it just made sense. Of course, it took me 21 tries to get there, but eventually we did.
That's like the lucky number, I guess. Other questions, ladies and gentlemen?
A comment. I thought that the staging for AJ, the staging of the reading really helped for us to understand the characters, and we got a lot out of the staging.
The arena feel gave us that rodeo feeling at the end. We had a very deep stage here, and at first when I was watching it, I was like, let him come down stage more. No, that's it, we're at the rodeo. So yeah, it really felt that way, so I give you a lot of credit for that. Let's talk movie, since this is a screenplay. Let's talk movie in this sense. Would it make a good movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easy to say. Oh, no, that's great. I'm sitting here. It's brilliant. We don't care. Why? Why do you think this would sell? I'll open this to everyone. Why would it sell?
Strong images. I mean, the images that came from everyone and the story that's being told. There's a story there without, I mean, the words are beautiful, the words that when they come together, but it could be so enhanced by the emotion that you may tend to cut back on dialogue because of it's being shown in the picture, it's being told.
It's also dealing with so many real-life relevant issues right now. And for me, I know it's being at this festival, and we're dealing with the topic of sexuality, and there's so much more. Suicide, how you deal with guilt, family issues. So those are such big issues that we're dealing with today. Such strong characters. I can already envision them on the screen.
There was a situation, there was a Broadway show, I'm not going to mention names or anything, but an actor within the show ended up committing suicide because of bullying that happened within that show. So it is imagery that is right there on our shoulders. So yeah, congratulations. But thank you for handing us such imagery. I saw a hand go up. Yes, sir.
It's really opportune for film because the gay rodeo team has never been seen before. That's the most unique aspect of the script. I would go back, as a writer, I would go back and try to make it more visual though, because you have such great opportunities for conflict and pain, and just on the visuals of the rodeo and being a rodeo fan, not knowing what I'm watching when I go to one, and having lived in California for 15 years prior and been in the dust rodeos, those characters represent so many people in such a wide array. You have this great opportunity of the fish out of water, or, you know, the fish in the wrong pond, really. And they're like, I'm a writer, so I say this as a compliment. This is something I would love to steal. I wouldn't do it. Really got more and more for screen. It would only work on the screen, and there's just such a huge opportunity for this right now. Because independent film now is $1 to $3 million for mini studio film. They can cover a rodeo. There's no, don't let them tell you, oh no, there's no budget for this. That's a bunch of crap. There's a budget. There's a budget for this.
It's funny you say about fish out of water, because when Frank Callow, the producer, had first mentioned this to me, he said, would you handle public relations for it? And he told me the story. I'm listening, going, okay, a gay piece, okay, very good. And then he said, at a rodeo. I was like, gay piece at a rodeo. Okay. So this is something you don't necessarily see. It tells a major story, because when it's breaking a stereotype within a stereotype. When you think about the gay character in film or stage or whatever, you have a very particular image, and then to suddenly say, okay, there they are at a rodeo. Okay, boom, right there. That's something to say. Okay, let me at least watch this. Let me at least see what's going on. So again, very innovative. Yes, sir.
That leads me to my question. If this was to go to a movie, and this cast was hired to do the movie, how many of you would actually want to go on a horse and do your own stunts? All of them. But when it came to the point, would you actually do it?
Oh yeah.
See, what you're all missing is a biological thing. As he said it, in the air you hear, wait a minute, a major motion picture, SAG-WAY, National Distribution, Academy Awards, why, yes, I would let a horse trample my ass until I get it. So, okay, good, I'm glad to hear that. Yes, sir.
I think one of the strengths, too, is that the story, the themes, go beyond the gay story. It's more universal, and that's the strength of the piece.
I'd like to comment on that. One of the things that I absolutely think is so essential in our storytelling, especially now, is that heroes are made. They are not born heroes. and why I love this story so much. Frank gave me the script. I have so many projects this summer. I was like, okay, Frank, fine. I read the first 10 pages. I was like, I'm in. I don't care how busy I am. Okay. Right now, this day and time, we need more heroes. And looking at Chad, he's made him becoming a hero. He's not at the top. Yes, sure, top of the script. He is perceived as a hero, but through this journey of this script, he becomes a hero.
It's interesting because what you basically did was humanize the Marlboro Man.
Right.
Which was great. You answered the question I was going to ask you about your thoughts on this and heroes to be made. I think that's...
Jay, we have a question over here. Somebody's been very patient.
He can't see it.
The shadows.
I'm invisible. I'm a 54-year-old woman.
I'm a 55-year-old man. Nope, even the lights on me don't do any good, so it's just the lighting that made you invisible.
That's okay, this light is flattering. There is nothing more American than the cowboy or the cowgirl. And this is Tu Wong Fu in Western clothes. We look at the middle of America as a wide bastion of ignorance. And we have not made I haven't made my peace with what's happened in the last couple of years. And it's this exposure of who we are as people. This peels back all of the layers and lets us be the better part of who we are. And that is the message that we need to be getting out in films, period. Not all of this bang bang, shoot 'em up bull crap.
Well said. Yes, sir.
It's a wonderful script, and you certainly developed some strong, beautiful characters, particularly the both of them. I'm sorry, I don't remember all the names, but the young man in the white T-shirt, Logan. I think he becomes a hero more than almost anybody. But the only thing as a movie I would want to develop more, having spent a lot of time in Oklahoma and Texas and such, is the importance of winning the rodeo. The importance, I don't think a lot of people on the East Coast and the West Coast would realize how important winning that is. As a high school sport, that's like the best thing you can do, the most important thing you can do. And I think that would have to be brought out more.
Yeah. I have to give the shout out to Oklahoma. They won the National High School Gay Rodeo this year.
Of course Oklahoma would. Look at what Oklahoma did for Broadway. Other hands, yes, sir.
I love the script. It's beautiful. I'm probably a little biased.
My brother.
Yeah. Yes, East-West may miss the connection with the rodeo, but the many facets of issues in the script, to me, are global issues.
Yeah.
And I think the movie could go international. I mean, seriously, it should. My question, though, is when's the sequel?
Yeah.
Other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Other comments? Yes, ma'am.
I was just thinking, what we need more now, when a lot of people have, prejudices and their own thoughts and opinions on who that is and why they're not like me. Being universal, Johnny, is a very important thing. It helps those people see that guy loves his brother just like I love my brother. That mother, loves both those kids just like, so that's really important.
There's a lot of role models in this that, if you think about it, there's thousands and thousands of GSAs across the country. And if we could get those students to go see something like this with their parents, and their parents see Rachel and how she is sticking up for her son, at the same time realizing she has to balance two worlds, between the two brothers. I think that would just make a great impact on parents and how they would be able to work with their kids, and even work with their kids that are straight, and being able to look at how we build compassion and humanity back into our society. And I think that one of the things that is going to be critical for something like this, and this kind of goes to some of the points that you were making, is that it needs to look like a big Western. There were different references in the script, like for instance the bracelet that Chad wore and then him giving it to Toby was reminiscent of John Wayne and Montgomery Clift in Red River. And then the whole scene around them getting their asses kicked in the corral the first time around is John Wayne and the Cowboys. I tried to build in as much as I could that would reference kind of what we think of as kind of the big Western. And so I think a lot of what will really make this is if people can go and feel the big sky, but also feel almost claustrophobic by the emotions that are playing out.
The intimacy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you have your little cubicle of passion in between the wide open spaces.
Yeah.
You bring up John Wayne several times, so here's an interesting thing. When we look at films, every year thousands upon thousands of films are made, but we remember only certain ones as we go along. If I said Citizen Kane, there's no one in here who wouldn't remember who that is, and if I said Gone with the Wind, etc. What does this movie do for the future? Now, the movie's made, and it's produced, and it's wonderful, and etc. 10 years, 20 years, 50 years from now, what do we say about free range? What could you say about free range? I open it up to the Rangers as well. What can we say about this?
Is a big deal.
Well, I think it depends on what happens in society.
Well,
I mean, because we're at a stage right now where we're divided and we're very tribal, and that includes a lot of anti-LGBTQ stuff going on and coming back up to the surface. Now, in the future, if this is made, this could be a start of many conversations and could help the movement back into acceptance of all.
Right.
You know, and I would hope that, but a lot of how this would be remembered will be how society changes either for the good or for the bad. And I don't know which direction we're actually headed.
Good point. Yes, sir.
Well, ideally, I'd love to be able to say that in 20 years we can look back on this and say, God, that's so dated. I can't believe Yeah, so that would be my ideal to say.
I'll let you know when Boys in the Band is considered. One or two more questions, and then we're out of here. Yes, sir.
Well, just, you know, the other part of it is, like, I spent a little time in Amarillo this summer, and from Monument Valley to the southwest. And there's a new west, and this kind of catches a glimpse of it. And by the way, hats off, I did feel the Cowboys in this, which I love. But there's a new west, and it's influenced by urban America moving into the west. So if you look at this piece, it's kind of something like you'll go through Amarillo, you'll see the same graffiti you would see in LA. Or you go to a bar and you hear hip-hop, not just always Western when I go to these smaller places. This has the potential of capturing something that nobody's paying attention to right now, because we're becoming more universal in the rural areas due to economics. And you got this huge opportunity. It's such a great opportunity, this piece, that down the line people say, wow, he saw it coming.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk back here. Jumped over there. I think that I agree with everything everyone said. And I was gonna say too, like, remember when it was weird to be gay at a rodeo? You know, in like 20 years, maybe someone would say that. But there are so many universal themes that could be weighed evenly. And I know that might sound like oh, that's a step back for the gay community, or, you know, putting the voice out there. But sometimes when the voice is so loud, no one wants to hear it, you know? So if it was up there as much as suicide, as much as the pain of a mother who has to split her sons, as much as anything else is, I think it's more applicable and easy to watch. I was surprised when Brokeback Mountain, you know, that I think would be the only other comparable for the scale you're talking about. And what I see here, and I apologize for my crappy job, but there was a lot of, there's so much emotion, there's so much on the page that everyone did such a good job bringing to life, and certainly Anthony too. But it's so vivid and fluid, and the timing is so good. I would love to see that.
This could be the next Brokeback Mountain right here.
I think we are done. The last word will be from Jed Ryan from Lavender After Dark.
Oh, thank you. So one of the things that I think will really, when this gets made, will really hit audiences. Audiences love, like someone had mentioned before, universal themes that they can really relate to. But they also want, like, you know, some touches of, they don't want anything that's heavy-handed, so there were touches of comedy and realism, and these kids are the future, so of course someone is going to be YouTubing the whole thing in real time. Of course there's going to be, you know, the humor, which came from the character of Blaze and from Alan, Albert, you know.
Yeah.
And, but I want to know, like, so the characters were doing this because of their support for, you know, for Toby, but was there thoughts like maybe when the light bulb goes up, oh wait a minute, you know, maybe I'm good enough to compete in the future. Like maybe I'm going to go on to the rodeo next and become a hero.
Yeah, I would say that the thing for the kids, for the GSA, is that they have this incredible opportunity, because Toby is making a bad decision, but they have this wonderful opportunity to come out of his shadow. And I think that they step up, and it's fun to kind of watch them kind of transform themselves by being able to say, hey, we can do this, and we don't need someone to do it for us. And I think that is kind of a critical message that comes out.
That is a great way to end our Q&A. That and coming to a theater near you. There's champagne in the lobby.
Okay, before everybody gets up, I'm going to get all the readers together for a photo.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of our, actually, why don't maybe
stay right where you are.
Picture, please, before you
Don't leave the stage anyway. Stay right where you are.
People look at me like,
Oh, but you know what? He's sorry.
Once it makes sense. Gotta be a wide lens.
Cards came out. Let's make sure I got them all. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Don't do that. I got it.
Got it.
Excellent.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So, actors, if you can do your chairs for me. Yep.